It's gonna be chill. It's gonna be real
No,
chill.
I know it's
Yeah.
all these cameras and
Yeah, it's
stuff.
crazy.
I'm not used to all of them being
Oh,
pointed at me.
Christy.
So
You ready?
yeah.
Hey. Okay, Jamani. So let's start with. I was thinking about Gwinnett. I was thinking about Gwinnett because of Christy. Okay, so let's start with kind of tell me what your day-to-day looks like for taking care of your health.
For taking care of health, I'd say the first thing I do is wake up, brush my teeth, wash my face, and then honestly start cleaning up.
Yeah.
Like if I went to bed and there was some stuff I didn't get to, or if there was stuff lying around on the floor, I try to straighten that up before I leave because it gives me something clean to come home to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's something that I think I've gotten a lot better with. So that's one thing I say. I start my day taking care of my health, and then trying to do the little things like lotion. Saying like obviously you wash your face, put
Yeah.
stuff on, but do little areas. Make sure I got extra stuff if I need it for whatever I'm doing that day. So that's what I'd say taking care of my health looks like in the morning.
Okay, good. And so tell me how photography has benefited your health. I know that you do photography. I know that you want to do like fashion, editorial. Kind of tell me how that works into like your health.
I say that photography works into my health in terms of creativity. Was honestly, it was a safe space for me. It was something that I found like a true 9 to 5 if I had to pick one. And then it kind of takes care of my health because it gives me a way to express whatever I'm feeling, because you can do it in a multitude of ways in photography, whether it's street, whether it's conceptual, which is something I'm focused in right now. So I say photography as a whole, it just helps my mental and it helps my being, because it gives me something to focus on. It gives me something to also work on too.
Yeah,
So that's what I say.
That's good. Okay. So Jamani, kind of tell me, so you chose vocational health as the focus that you wanted to focus on. How important is it to choose a career that's purposeful?
I think it's very important to choose a career that's purposeful, really, because a lot of career choices, especially nowadays in the current state of the economy and the world, is people are choosing to dedicate their, the time that they have on this planet to just the physical aspects like financial stability and security rather than the inner work of your life. And so I think photography in and of itself, it provided a purpose because it was one of the first few aspects that I just didn't get bored with, that I could spend hours doing and it would still be fun, and there would still be more things for me to try, more things for me to look to doing in it. So I think it's also just really important to me, really, just because I can keep exploring and I can keep trying different things and it'll still be fun. And it's still important for everybody else to choose something purposeful, because they can kind of get the same joy out of life, and it's a different joy out of life, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think especially now where the job market is, and I think in the patterns of like our parents or people before us, they chose whatever they needed to make ends meet. And
Absolutely.
I think when it comes to being a creative, I think sometimes, of course, we think about that in between, but when you are purposeful in what you're doing, like, you will always find a way to make money, and it will always show, like, your passion or whatever you're doing is going to, like, your gifts are going to make room for you, and they're going to bring about the money and the financial aspect of it. So I think that's really important, because you go, like you say, you're gonna spend decades of your life choosing a career that you're miserable, and you still have family, you still got kids, your wife, everything. And so if it's not something that is enjoyable, you're not necessarily taking care of yourself.
Some people, they don't even have like an actual family to come home to from the 9 to 5 that they chose to spend so much of their life that they don't even find purpose in. So if you don't have those types of things, imagine you come home from breaking your back doing all those like labor, all the work, whatever you have to do, and it provides you all the security of like, you have a house, you're not homeless, you're not struggling to live, but now you're just suffering in your own head.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really big problem nowadays.
What was the turning point that made you take your health serious?
More so in college around my senior year when I just found myself really being distanced from a lot of the people I was accustomed to seeing and hanging
Mhm.
around every day.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like when I went to school and I studied one thing, like I always kind of had an oversight, like I was going to do something in media and in communications, but I didn't have an exact this
Mhm.
lane. And so when everybody started moving out and I started distancing myself, like it kind of put me in a state of mind where I really just had to look in the mirror and then just look at my daily habits every single day.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just went back to, okay, what do I see for myself after this is over? Because in about 6 months, I'm not going to have these same opportunities. I'm not
Mhm.
going to be able to just wake up and go to school or go to class, do what I gotta do, use quizzes, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Go to the gym, come back to the apartment, sleep, whatever. Now I'm gonna have to go to work. I'm gonna have to focus on if I do have a family. It's gonna get
Mhm.
deeper. It's only gonna get deeper in these
Yeah.
opportunities and in these challenges as well. So
Okay.
it just led me to really start looking back at the problems I had then, even with all the blessings I had, and
Mhm.
then to try to figure out how to prioritize myself and prioritize my growth.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense. Like when I think about college, that's real. Like when you're around a certain group of people, it's like you not pick up their habits, but you get in a rhythm or a routine,
yeah,
what it is. And so it's like, oh, you left,
definitely.
child,
There were
and it,
definitely a lot of
and
routines.
then you're realizing like, okay, what will I do when I normally do it? I know I wake up, I normally go to so and so's house, or we normally go here, but
Hmm.
when you're gone and I'm trying to figure out my life, how do I do that? And
And
so
not
I
even
think
just
that's
that
really
too.
good.
It's like
Yeah.
all those people, they're not always they aren't always gonna be there. And then again,
Yeah.
that ties back to some people, they don't end up getting married. They don't end up having kids, whether that's by choice or not by choice. It's
Mhm.
still true.
Yeah.
And it might just be what God has for you or what, the universe, whatever you believe in, but
Mhm.
that's just something that became like a question. And then it
Yeah.
all just dialed back to ultimately what do I want for myself? Because it all
Mhm.
dials back to him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's good.
thanks.
That's good, Jamani. Okay. So what do you want to do going forward to impact men's health or just the health of your community going forward?
To impact the health of my community going forward and just men's mental health period, transparency in terms of finding my own style and my own lane, both career wise, personality wise, fashion wise, like
Yeah.
every single dimension you can think of, and then making that in terms of where you don't have to necessarily come from a place of I've been like this since I was 2. I've
Yeah.
been like this since I was 8 years old, to where everything just kind of fits like a glove and you already knew what your style was, you already knew what type of person you were, because there are a lot of people that don't know. There are a
Yeah.
lot of people that are inventing themselves at 30 because they wake up one day and realize once all those people that they're accustomed to being around
Mhm.
and those habits and they're not there anymore, they realize I'm pretty not happy. I'm
Yeah.
really, really not pleased or at least satisfied with everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's one way I can impact men's mental health is just keep finding me
Yeah.
in every stage.
That's good, Jamani. That's so
Yeah.
good. And that's all I got. I never know how to end these. Never know how to end these.
You know what's funny? I am always discovering new stuff, like in
Mhm.
terms specifically in food, because I was a very picky child
Oh,
growing up.
really?
So I used to eat the same meal every single night, or at
Mhm.
least crave the same meal,
Mhm.
And so I guess if I had a question for the audience, really, it would just be if you knew that you were going to discover at least 5 different things about yourself that you had no idea you would discover, what would they be, and what would you have to go through in order to get to those answers? And that would be my question.